Okay, the fifth seal. He opened the fifth seal. Verse 9.
And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held.
So, martyrdom, killing of people for their belief, killing of Christians, persecution of Christians is the next thing on the horizon. You see why I'm preparing you? Some people are promising you that you will fly away before them. Look, did you see anywhere anybody's flying anywhere? The next thing is persecution and killing of Christians, because the church will go the way the church came. The same thing that happened in the early church is going to repeat in the last days. Okay, read verse 10. Let them see it.
Verse 10.
No, go back to verse 9. Yes.
And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held.
For preaching the gospel and for believing in Jesus. Yes, verse 10.
And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge the blood of them that dwell on the earth?
Dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on the people that dwell on the earth? They want God to punish the people that kill them. And of course, God said, I will do it, but wait a little while, because more people needs to be killed in the last days. Look at it, verse 11.
And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also, their brethren, that should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled.
Are you seeing it? Let me tell you something. Like when we talk about tribulation, it frightens some people. Antichrist is coming, the church. Why will God leave his church here? Listen. If it is wrong for the end-time church to go through persecution, then it's wrong for the early church to go through it. Because they are the ones he was telling, calm down. Just give us a little more time, because there will be another set coming from the last day. When it's complete, remember this end time prophecy. When it is completed, then we can begin judgment on the earth. Martyrdom is coming again. Is what is in the future. If they sign this unity of religion thing that they are trying to sign, one world religion, Pope is trying to lead a coalition to sign it by September, they are going to come out with new laws, and then true Christians are not going to obey those things. And what is going to happen? Persecution. The people who now want to be true, serve God, follow their conscience, are the ones they will declare an outlaw. Remember I said prayer can interfere with prophecy. The highest you can do, prayer can interfere. Just like it's interfering with global events now, and move it forward into the future. But it won't stop it from happening. Persecution. And even now as I'm talking, this persecution of Christians has returned. Even in countries here in Africa, it's happening. Northern part of Nigeria, different places, it's happening. But it's going to become mainstream. Europe will be at the forefront of it. It's happening already in China. Russia, 2 or 3 years ago, just banned every form of Christian activities to the extent of banning house fellowships. And of course, the church will not stop. So what happens? Persecution will start. So you can understand, as you see what the future looks like, you can't be that type of Christian you used to be, that has no foundation. He said, whosoever heareth the sayings of mine and doeth them not, is like a man that built his house on a sand. When the storms come, when the wind comes, because they will come, it collapses. He said, because they are persecuting, I have denied Jesus, I don't want to be. You see, it is this persecution that will precipitate the great falling away. Pastor Ben, go to Matthew 24 and see it.
Then,
look at verse 9. Look at what Jesus said.
Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
This persecution looks like it's going to be global, worldwide, all nations. They will afflict you, they will kill you, you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Are you seeing the rise of anti-Christian rhetorics on social media? Attack on pastors, attack on churches, attack. It's just building. It's going somewhere. And some of them are people who used to attend church. Add verse 10.
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
What is the message here? That when persecution comes, a couple of Christians falls off from the faith. And I want to use the opportunity to talk to you, because it's the spirit of Absalom working in the church. When people hear about the spirit of Absalom, they think about rebellion, but they forget that what caused that rebellion was offense. Absalom had a sister called, I think it's Tamar, and Ammon raped Tamar. So David punished Ammon, but the punishment was not harsh enough according to Absalom. Absalom wanted him executed, and since David did not execute him, Absalom got offended with David and offended with Ammon, so he started plotting. You see how offense leads to betrayal and to hatred. He said many will be offended and they will betray one another and shall hate one another. If there is one thing that can send many Christians to hell in the last days, is offense, hatred, malice, matters of the heart. Absalom got offended, but one thing about bitterness is when you have it, it develops roots. It eats you up, then hatred develops from there. So he plotted, got some people paid, and they assassinated Ammon. And then he ran away, escaped. After a long while, he now got some people to go and plead with David for him, that he has repented, they should forgive him. And David gave him clemency. They pardoned him, and he came back. Guess what? He started plotting to overthrow his government, to remove. Is that, you see where the rebellion comes from? The rebellion in heaven, Lucifer, started with offense and envy. Envy. Lucifer betrayed, not Lucifer. Judas betrayed Jesus, but it started with offense. There was a woman that broke an alabaster box of oil, poured on Jesus, and Judas complained, and Jesus rebuked him. Leave her alone. She'd prepare him. The Bible said he got offended, and offense opened him up for evil spirits to get inside him. A lot of these people that are on social media attacking churches used to attend churches. Some of them is, instead of practicing what Christianity taught, forgiveness, walking in love, realizing that you also have your own fault. They get offended. It might be because they were corrected or one thing happened. Sometimes there is something really that happened. They go up and the enemy captures them. And the devil is now building an army from believers. The same people are attacking the church, attacking pastors, attacking ministers. Some are even offended at God. Be careful about offense. It will destroy you. And the sad thing about offense, bitterness, that poison, you start polluting other people with it because it's an infectious disease. So you see, this is what causes what the end time called the great falling away. As the pressure rises, persecution and offenses, people start falling from their faith. Are you falling for your faith? Is that man the man that died for you? Is that pastor the one that went to the cross for you? Why are you turning away from Christ? Because of somebody's mistakes. When somebody gets a disease, do you want to get it because of another person? Why do you want to catch an infection? Because somebody has. It doesn't matter what another person chooses to do with his life. Me, I'm in Noah's ark, and I will remain there till the flood has come and gone. Salvation is not something you joke with. And the Bible said next, read it, verse 11. Because iniquity shall abound. Yes?
Verse 11. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many.
Yes, verse 12.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
So Christians are called to maintain their first love for God and for the brethren. But the last church age, when Jesus wrote letters to the 7 churches of Asia, in the book of Revelation chapter 2 and chapter 3, the last church age, the warning he gave them is, you have fallen from your first love, or the first church. I have something against you. You've left your first love. You see, you are lukewarm. He said, if you're lukewarm, I'll spew you out of my mouth. God will vomit you out. God does not tolerate lukewarmness. Be hot, you are not. Be cold. Let's know you are an unbeliever. You are not. You stay in the middle. No, then at the end of the day, no, the part of the kingdom will reject you. It's God that will reject you. Satan is going to claim you. If you're going to serve God, be red hot for Jesus. Be on passion. Be sold out to him. Because iniquity shall abound. Don't copy what others are doing. You want to make friends, find godly people. People that are on fire for God. People that are pursuing God chasers. Make such people your friend. Don't go and surround yourself with compromising Christians, backsliding Christians, and then you learn their ways and your own love grows cold. They pollute your mind, you get offended. You know, I hear believers that are talking about not giving to God, not tithing. No. Who are you keeping the money for? For Antichrist? Days are coming now. You will see how you get your money in the bank. Who are you keeping it for? Jesus said you should put your treasure in heaven, where neither thief nor moth doth corrupt. So investment you make to drive the kingdom, the investment you make on the poor, the investment you make in the things of God are the only thing you're going to have then. If you're going to heaven, your money should go ahead of you. But they are teaching you now not to tithe, not to give, to whatever. What is wrong? Is this great falling away? Instead of doubling your effort, tripling your effort in evangelism, tripling your effort in everything, you are talking about slowing down at a time like this.